Good morning. Caught me out, had the wrong screen on this morning. No welcome screen. All right, so it's Thursday morning here in Australia. If you're joining me from over the pond, then it will be Wednesday evening. I hope you are all having a lovely week. We've got some very windy, wild weather here outside at the moment, so I'm hoping that my internet holds up. I'm just waiting for a little minute. I'm a little bit early this morning, just checking whether it would go live before the scheduled time, which it does, so that's a learning curve. So I'm just going to wait to see if anyone will come in and let me know that my sound is good and you can see me okay, although I can see me okay on the screen here. So today we are going to be creating some very cute little mushrooms with the Gathering Moments stamp set, which I am absolutely loving, but once I discovered how cute those mushrooms were, that one will not be leaving my house. So Brenda. Hello, Brenda. Now, Brenda, why is your message restricted? Let me have a little look here. Hello, Barb. Just going to see what I can do. Oops. Now I've lost you all. That's not good. Let me see if I can go back again. Let's go back. Sorry girls, I'm going to just have to refresh that screen and see if that will change things. Yes, great. Sound is good. Thank you, Brenda. I'm not sure why that came up restricted. Hopefully Sharon will come on, my little spanner girl, and she will be able to check those comments when they come in if I get a bit busy creating. Windy up in Queensland as well, Barb. Thank you very much. It's always nice to be told I look right. I wish I could see your faces as well. But at the moment I've got a B for Barb and a B for Brenda. Sound is great, excellent. All right, so we'll just quickly get my housework out of the road. Now, when I used to do lives on Facebook, people who know what they're doing kept telling me, you don't do any marketing, Cheryl, you just get on, you start creating, you don't talk about what's going on. So I'm making myself do it, although I find it a little difficult at times, but it's a lot easier in this program because I can just flick over to different screens. So let's have a look first up. We'll just jump in to upcoming classes. So Tuesday 14th is gone. We've got a class this Saturday on the 18th. That's an in-person class at my place in McLaren Vale, in my little classroom. That's a nice casual get-together. We've got a few girls coming. On Tuesday the 28th of October, we have another class. Michelle, if you come in and watch this later, Michelle's class is scheduled for Monday the 20th, I think it is. Anyway, the Monday the 20th. We've got a class on Tuesday the 28th, which is also our casual drop-in type class. And then we have, I haven't put up the other class dates in November yet, but we do have a Save the Date, an online class on Saturday the 8th of November. It runs for 3.5, 4 hours, and we make 4 cards in that time. And I keep saying afternoon, but it sort of runs across the lunchtime period if you are in Australia. It would be in the evening on a Friday if you are in the US or Canada. So that one, I put the registration link in the comments under the video if anyone is interested. It is $27 Australian. You get the 4 projects on the day plus 2 bonus projects in the Facebook group in association with that class. Lots of other little tips and tricks on how to use the Lights of Aurora suite of products. That's what we're creating with. And if you are purchasing that particular bundle off me prior to the class, then you will get free entry into the class. So $85 worth of product will get you free entry. Any product, doesn't need to be that product, will get you free entry into the class. Okay, so that's that. Now I do have a little graphic for that one. So it's the 8th of November, which is a Saturday or a Friday night in the US, Canada. My times don't really work well for Europe and the UK, but you can certainly purchase it. Everything is available for watching afterwards if you can't make it on the day. You get a PDF with the links to the recordings, all of the cutting lists, supplies, etc. So that is for all 6 of the projects. So that's my Lights of Aurora, which is a fabulous, fabulous set if you haven't seen it. What else? We've got, obviously, the joining offer is still running until the end of October. So it is $235 worth of product in Australia plus free shipping for $60. Because you're joining in October, you will get the first quarter till the end of December as a bonus, and then your first full quarter will run you through to the end of March. So you'll get all of that time with Stampin' Up, where you can put orders in as you like, and then you don't really have to make any decisions about what you want to do moving forward until the end of March. So it is a great time to try out Stampin' Up if you wanted to. So just let me know if you are interested in that, or there is a join link in the comments below. We also have the product that I'm using today is the Gathering Moments bundle. There is an entire suite that comes with that bundle called Gathering Together, which includes an embossing folder, which we have used on here, the stamp set, the dies, the embellishments, and obviously the paper. I think I said the paper. And some baker's twine in early espresso and old olive. So, but I do have a full 12 video tutorial bundle for that particular product. It is $22 Australian. If you're on my team, you get that for free. If you are purchasing, it's $22. If you are purchasing product from me during the month, you will get this tutorial video class bundle for free. So it includes 12 videos from some amazing demonstrators around the world. So all of the measurements are in both metric and imperial. So that the link for where to find that is also in the comments below. And how did I do? Let me go back to here. Did I do good in my little marketing spiel? All right, so now we've also given people time to come in if they were running a little behind. So Sharon's still not there, so I'll try and keep an eye on the comments, and as well as crafting. So let me chuck you over to my craft desk. Nope, we want this one. This one? How does that look? If I put some light on it, might help. There we go. All right, so I have already made the card today, which is a bit of a bonus, but we are going to change things up a little bit or try a few different things. So this is the card that I've created, and look at those mushrooms. Are not they just adorable? They are so cute. I love mushrooms and toadstools, fungi in general, not mold, but all of the other fungi sort of like. So yeah, that's what we'll be creating. It uses the Gathering Moments stamp set and the dies that go with it. And we're also bringing in some new product that just came in this week, which is now I didn't bring the stamp set out, but it is the Branching Out bundle, and we're going to use the dies. Now I got the dies for these fabulous nesting dies, so we're going to use those. We're also, for the sentiment, I've pulled out the More Messages dies. It's one big single die. There is a stamp set that goes with it. You can stamp all of your sentiments, then die cut them all at once. It's brilliant. But today I just was looking for a die to fit this sentiment, and this one here fits it perfectly. So we're going to use that one to cut our sentiment. Right, so let's get underway. So the first thing that I'm going to do is that background piece. Now, can you see that background piece? Now it looks sort of like it's been embossed with an embossing folder, but it hasn't, although you certainly could emboss it with an embossing folder, and this one would look fabulous. This is the Gathering Leaves embossing folder from that suite, and it would look fabulous to save yourself a bit of time, because this particular technique today can be time consuming, especially when you're using a small die, but I love that really textured look that it gives. But you could use this if you just want to emboss your background. You know me, I like to do different things. So I'm going to need my silicone mat. Now I do started writing out all the measurements for this, and I will put them up in the Blue Mushroom group, and the link in the comments below, in the video description below, once I've done it. So thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Barb. All right, so what I did was, the colour I'm using is Petunia Pop. I've gone totally rogue on my colours. I'm using Petunia Pop, and I went ahead and I die cut a heap of this die out of the branching out dies, which I love, 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 love. I haven't used any of the proper ones out of here. It's a long string of, like a string of pearls. Do you know that cactus plant, succulent, that you get where they all hang out the edge? That's sort of what it looks like, a long string of pearls. But I went ahead and I die cut lots and lots and lots of those, and I put adhesive sheet on the back of my Petunia Pop cardstock before I started. So the adhesive sheet is like, we used to call it jack paper back in the day, but Stampin' Up have an adhesive sheet that comes in big long strips like this. There is 12, I think, yes, 12 of those, so plenty of adhesive sheet in a pack, and it's quite long as an A4 piece of cardstock, not quite as wide, but as long. So I use it a lot when I remember. It's very handy when you remember. Once you've die cut it, something, it's too late, but if you can remember to add it to your cardstock before you die cut for these smaller bits and bobs, it's such a time saver and saves all that glue getting everywhere. So I have done quite a few of them, and then I have that one stuck on there. I'll ignore him for the moment. So for this particular background, I've pre-started this because it is a bit time consuming. I just took my pieces. Now I'm going to zoom you in a little bit, I think. Maybe I'm going to zoom you in a little bit if I can find the part to do that. Let's just see if I can. Is that a bit better? Remind me to zoom you out. All right, I'm just going to watch my other screen to make sure it's not too big. For some reason on my other screen, I'm really small in the video. Why would that be? Let me have a quick look here and see what's going on. It's not filling the entire screen. Is everyone else having that problem? Just going to try something. That might be a bit better. Just bear with me. I have to wait for YouTube to catch up to me. I'm just going to go done and see if it changes. Because for me, there's a big black... There! Oh, I fixed it. Aren't I clever? I don't know why that was different. Is that better? Now you're not getting the big black screen around the edge. I have no idea what was going on there. I've changed the sizing somehow or other. Anyway, that is much better. It's still not quite perfect, but it's much better. All right, so now we are a bit closer, and you might be able to easier see what I'm doing. But I've laid the pieces across the sheet of card. So because they've got sticky on the back, that makes it really easy. I've cut it to my first layer size, and I'm just going to pull the backings off. I should be using a take your pick tool for this, but my nails are growing, so they are getting quite good, although I know you're not supposed to use them as tools. So now, as I've laid these, the little dots go one way, they sort of slide this way. So I'm turning it around each time I lay a piece down so that the dots go like they go that way, then they go this way. So I'm not getting, if I accidentally go a different way, it would look a bit odd. So this way they're all mixed up and they don't look quite so odd. So I'm just, when you get to here, it fits all the way across. When you get up to here, you end up with little bits, and can you see I've added the little bits on, which were the bits cut off the edge. So they don't quite fit all the way across and still be the dots still fit in place. So you end up with a little bit left over right in the middle. But when you get down to here, it just fits on here quite easily. Oops. Make it straight. Pop that down. I'm going to finish this one off because we're going to choose what we want to use. We'll do something a bit different. Pull the backing off, nice and easy. Oh, you have the branch set? That's great, Brenda. It's I love this. I love, there are some images and things out of a set really attract me, and I bought the branching set for those nesting dies because I've seen people do fabulous things with those. But when I pulled this one out, I went, oh, this is pretty good. So I'm going to show you another way to do this as well in a minute. We'll just finish this one off quickly, and then you can tell me which one we should use in my card today. So I'm just, so you can see I'm sliding that along till the little dots, oh, we want to change the orientation. So they want to go this way, we'll slide them along, getting all these leftover bits, which will be very handy to finish off some of the rows. Will that fit across there, or will I need a longer one? Still need a longer one. They can be the two short pieces. So pull this one off. And then use the shorter pieces to finish off any rows that aren't finished in the middle, or these little ends here. And then we just need one little piece for in here. Use this one. All right, there are no other bits to fill in. So now you can go along and just trim off the edges. Before you do that, grab a bone folder, and you want to make sure that they are all very well stuck down, especially any extra bits that you've added on the edge. Now, I did that, and then afterwards I thought, a better idea for this, considering we know what we're going to do here and we know that this part's going to be covered, would be to start a row here like this. So go like that and have the join in the middle, which is going to be covered, and then you won't have any of these little tiny bits which potentially might come off. So Brenda, if you're doing this one yourself, when it gets to the longer bits that won't fit all the way across, join them up in the middle where you know it's going to be covered, and then you won't have any small bits which might come off. So you find out all these things after you've done something. So I did the learning bit for you. Now we're just going to go through and chop off all the sticky out bits. And I mean, there are many dies that you could do this with, and even some of the larger dies, leaves or even flowers, would look really good done in the same colour, so that it gives a textured look to your background. Much more textured than an embossing folder. And this was an all over pattern, but we're also going to try it and be a little bit more selective. So I'll just quickly cut all these off. Now I've got me zoomed, oops, got me zoomed in, so I have to be really careful. A little bit haywire there. Now, if you notice any that are coming up, just make sure they're pressed down. You might want to go over that again with your bone folder. And then all of these bits, I've got my silicone mat out because they don't stick to that. But if they get on your card, on your paper, they will. Now, get rid of those. Get rid of rubbish bin. Right, so that's that diagonal design. So now I've got another one that I've started as well, and I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. So in this one you can see I'm using them straight, and I'm going to group them. Now we know that we're going to cover this, so I haven't put any underneath that. I've got a piece of card that I've cut for that. This is Berry Burst, so I've been able to lay that there and see where I'm going to put things. I also know I'm going to have these ones, which I've also cut as well out of white. So this is the smallest and the next size up in the white, and I've cut two, and they're going to sit on here. So I know that I don't particularly have to worry too much about those areas. And this is just a better way than this. Took me, probably a good 10 die cuts to cover that whole background piece. This way it won't take you quite as many, because you're not going to be putting the die cuts under where you're going to have your elements. So it depends on how you create, if you know what you're doing ahead of time. I didn't when I did this one, but I do now, so I'll be able to do this a bit differently. So I'm going to lay them straight and just group them together on the page at different heights. So we'll pop this one down here. Take the end off. And we'll put different heights over here. Hello Sharon, that's all right. So everyone, Sharon is my little spanner, so she'll keep an eye on the comments. If anyone gets stuck or has a question, just ask Sharon and she'll probably be able to answer it. She's pretty clever. All right, so now with this one, I do want them to go the same way. I'm not going to shift them around, so I just have to jiggle them until the little dots fit. And we'll do another one. So I really like this. You could do so much. Like these could hang down from the top like these ones are, but in a green, and they could be hanging foliage. So pretty. Alright, so now let's pop our little elements back on, see if we need any more around the place. Something like that. Now we probably need something up here, so we can use some of these leftover bits. Now because I'm going to hang them down, I want my bits to be nice and neat, so we'll cut that one. Just making sure I'm still on the screen. I'm very zoomed in at the moment, Sharon. That one's got all the sticky off, so we'll just put that one there. Whoops, that's a bit too long. Might cut that down a little bit, shall we? Didn't have to cut that bit off. Anyway, sometimes I do wonder about my thinking process. This one could also go on here. Now this is just a short up in the corner, like that. That doesn't fit very well, does it? Let's grab another one because I've got them here. And oh, there, that can go like that. That's good. So this one's not going to be quite so busy because there's a lot of things that I did as I made this card, and I had to stop doing them because it was getting very, very busy. And I'll show you the other bits that I did. So then that's going to sit like that. So that's just adding some texture in places and some not. And I quite like that it's not quite as intense as this one. Okay, so we'll just get rid of all of these little bits. So we've got a couple of extra which we could use on the inside of that card. We'll get rid of all of our rubbish and we'll cut these off. So I will just give that a little press with my bone folder just to make sure that everything is very well stuck on. Don't go too hard. trim that off. With the little strips, yes, there's so many things you could do with them. You know, when you just need a little something something on your card. All right, so I think today I am going to make this one up because I've already done this one. So we'll see what this one looks like when it's finished. Right, I'm just going to go back over here to zoom you out a little bit more again. Knowing that I can do that, I'll come back in a sec. All right, so that's our background piece, which will go on a white folded card, which I have here somewhere. And we can go ahead and glue that on because we are done now with not wrapping anything around it. So let's go ahead and glue that. Oh dear, did I bring glue out? Got an old one. Yes, I've got an empty one. Let's see if I can make the empty one last for the day because I didn't bring my glue out from the other room. Actually, we might put a bit in the middle because this is not see-through. And have I got that up the right way? No. This is the way we had it up, remember? So we'll go this way. So make sure you get it up the right way. Good save, Cheryl. You girls. Yes. But yes. I think it will be great. Imagine, you could use it with the Everyday Arches dies and they could hang down inside an arch. That would be so pretty. All right, so we're glued on. Next bit is this bit here, which I've got cut. It's 1 inch by the length of the card or 2.5 centimeters. It's going to sit on here like this, but I wanted to give it a little bit of texture. Now, we're going to branch off into another, that was an unintended pun there. We're going to branch off and do something a little different. So while I was designing this card, I pulled out the paper that goes with this particular suite. I have no idea what I've done with my bit now. That would be right. Oh, here it is. So some of the paper is, most of it's autumn tones in browns and Cajun Crays and Old Olive or Mossy Meadow, dark greens, dark autumn. It's not autumn here in the South Pacific. So that's probably why I'm not using autumn tones with my card. And I didn't use autumn tones in my video tutorial either, although we did a class in card the other day which did use autumn tones using this particular suite. I don't know if I've got that out here to show you or not. But anyway, one of the papers is this one, which has this gorgeous gold in it. It's a bit different on the back. It's clad, but these were some pieces that I took out and I thought instead of using a piece of Berry Burst, I'll colour up some of this paper and then I'll have the gold elements in it. So that's what I did, just with a blending brush and the Berry Burst ink, and that's what I ended up, which is absolutely gorgeous because that basic beige pattern you can see there shows through with the darker inks. It resists the ink a bit and the ink soaks into the background, so you don't just get the gold showing, you get the pattern as a very subtle, beautiful wallpapery look. So I was going to have this in here, but then once I added all these elements and this, it was like, whoa, so many conflicting different patterns that your eye just didn't know where to look. It was a bit over the top. So I took it off in the end and I just stamped it, which made it much more subdued, which is what we'll do today, because even with this one, it's still just, I think, too much. But I wanted to show you how amazing this paper is. So I pulled out a different colour because we already know what Berry Burst looks like. I've pulled out Pretty Peacock. So this is totally going off track now. Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper, which I do have here. let me get a piece so that I don't dirty up my my thingy. Got a piece of scrap copy paper here which we'll use, and we'll just colour this strip here. My phone's gone a bit wonky. It's like, I don't want to go there, I want to go somewhere else. I think I pushed it out of the road before. Let's see if I can get it straight again. How's that? Everything's moved. I moved it all. Bad, Cheryl. Alright. Everything's taped down to... Right. So, this is Pretty Peacock. I'm going to grab a block. A bigger block than that. Put some ink on it. Because you do need to have quite a bit of ink for the pattern to show. So I've got a blending brush. Pick some of that ink up, and we're just going to roll it on. Now when you first start, it's you can see the pattern. I'm not sure if you guys can. I'm going to just zoom you in a fraction, just because I can here. So you can see the pattern. You can actually see it a lot better with the peacock than you could with the berry burst, and it's quite light. But what you want to do is you want to get it like this, so it's quite dark, and that the beige pattern shows through as well as the gold. So it's like a double resist. And does anyone else create like me? You do one thing and then you think, oh, I wonder what it'll look like in that colour. I wonder what it'll look like in that colour. And you just end up going off on a total tangent. Okay, so that's sort of what I would call one layer of Pretty Peacock. We're going to be bold and add some more. That's actually quite pretty, just like that, but we're going to add some more. Because as you can see, the more that you add, the more that that basic beige pattern stands out. Whoops, don't do that. Be careful and hold it down so it doesn't all bend up. But look at that coming through. Isn't that stunning? Yes, the paper is from the Gathering Together suite. So it's a sheet. There's just one that's like this, that's white with basic beige and gold on it. The others are all very autumn tones. Beautiful, beautiful paper. I didn't bring it out here with me. But there are beautiful leaves that the die's cut out, and they're in all the gorgeous autumn tones with gold embellishments. Look, little gold pieces in there. It's a specialty paper. It is absolutely a stunning paper. But I really love it when they have a sheet or two in these sets that you can make any colour, that you don't have to be bound by the colours in the suite. And so this one is one of those. And look at that. Isn't that stunning? Going on your order, yes. Well worth it. Well worth it, yes. So that is a gorgeous way to use some, in fact, any of your papers with the gold in it will resist a light colour or a white colour in any of the paper sets will work this way, but I just love that this one had like a double effect in underneath. So you could use any colours that you liked. So that was the Pretty Peacock. This is the Berry Burst. Just stunning. Love it. So there's a project coming on. I can feel that coming on. So I'll pop that aside for a minute and we'll get rid of that now. And we'll keep going with the cards, shall we? After that little sidetrack. So now I'm going to use Berry Burst on here. So I've got my Berry Burst ink pad and I'm going to use some of the leafage. So these are great little what we used to call, and I don't think they put them on here, distinctive style stamps. So they've got lots of texture in them. Not sure, I won't use this one, I don't think, because we've got so many dots in there already. And I'll use these two. we'll find some blocks to put those on. Little one for here, put it in the centre. And this little leaf. All right, so how zoomed in do I have you? Pretty much, I just have to remember where you are. I'm watching quite a few different screens here at the moment. So we're just going to use this one, and I'm not, I don't think I stamped off. I don't think you need to. So we'll just go over and stamp this little leaf. So it comes up quite light because it is got that texture in it. So we just want to twist it around and stamp in different directions up the page. And then we'll just maybe fill in a little bit, but we will fill in with these little dots, and then I'll add other stuff as I need to. Some little dots in here. So I just want to make it look like a designer series paper, but a toning one. There we go. Perfect. Just put these aside. I have a, oh, do I? I've taken, oh, I've got one. Thank you, a chamois. I'll just clean those off because Berry Burst on my other ink pads might not work very well, especially because we're going to use some pretty in pink in a minute. All right, so that's my background strip, and I did also cut a strip of white in the same size, and I'm going to put that in behind, and that just gives it a little point of difference. So we'll glue that on. So on this one I'll put the glue down here. And on this one, I don't want the glue on this side. Glue on this side. And we'll just give that roughly the same border that we've got on the back of our card here. Here we go. And then it can just get glued onto here. Now, I need to make sure that it is the right height. It actually looks pretty good, that's pretty amazing. So then we're just going to pop it on there with glue. I don't need to trim any off. I have my measurements all correct. So we'll just, this goes right to the top and right to the bottom of your card. Just try and make sure that it's straight. My biggest problem is making sure that things are straight. So that's why grid paper is very handy. That looks relatively okay. All right, so now we've got a couple of different patterns in the background. Now I'm just going to zoom you out so I can reorient myself. Okey-doke. Pop that aside, and we will now work on our stamped images. So I've just got a piece of basic white, regular, and I'm going to use Berry Burst, Petunia Pop, and Pretty in Pink. All the pinky shades. So I've got some sponge daubers out for the two darker colours. So we've got Berry Burst. I better put them in order because that is Berry Burst. Berry Burst, Petunia Pop, and Pretty in Pink, which I don't need a sponge dauber for because that will be the base layer. And then we'll need to put our images out. So I'm going to be using those little berries. They'll be in Berry Burst. I'll put those up there. We'll use this leaf, which is going to be Petunia Pop. And we will also use this leaf, the mushroom, and the large leaf as well. So let's pop all those onto blocks. I'm not using the acorn because I'm just not sure that acorns would look great in pink. I mean, who's to say? Of course they could be pink if you really wanted them to. But this one, and a little block for this one. And that's everything on blocks. All right, so I've got a couple of sheets of card. I do have already some done, but I've got a couple of sheets of card in case I run out of space, which you may do if you're doing them for yourself. So I'm going to do the large leaf first, and the large leaf I'm going to stamp in Berry Burst. And I'm going to add, oh look at all that. Don't want to get that on my pink card. I'm going to add some Petunia Pop. Now Petunia Pop's a lighter colour, so all it really is adding in a second colour and blending it together. It's not going to really add any shading, so I'm just going to do it in that centre part there. These are going to be die cut, so leave enough space. And can you see that it is Berry Burst around the outside, and there's a little shading of the Petunia Pop in the centre. I'll just take my ink off, I'll do another one of those. So Berry Burst, a little bit of Petunia Pop, straight onto the stamp. Do this one here. You'll need 2 for the front. You can do extras for the inside. I already have some extras done. So that's all I'll need for that one. I'm going to do these little berries, and I just need one really. Oops. Now that won't matter because see, I've over inked a little bit and it's around the edge here. We're going to die cut it, so. But if you are stamping directly onto something, just make sure that you tap, tap, tap on the ink pad. Next up, we'll do this one, which is going to be in the middle colour, which is Petunia Pop, and I'm going to add my shading in the Berry Burst. And again, just up the centre. And I'll do a few of those, clean my stamp off in between, and ink that up the centre with some Berry Burst. I just think they look nicer if they've got 2 colours in them. Now we'll just do the 2 in that one because I do have another one cut here for the inside already, just to save us a bit of time. This one's going to be the Pretty in Pink, which is really going to add a nice contrast to these darker pinks, and we're going to add the Petunia Pop as our blending colour. Now this one comes out particularly pretty. Oh, look at that. So it's pink with Petunia Pop up the centre. Beautiful. And this one, and then we just need to do the mushrooms, which is the fun part. We're going to experiment a little bit with our mushrooms. So the ones that I did on my card, I started with Pretty in Pink, and I added Petunia Pop to the top part of the mushroom. Just like that. And then that comes out like, ta-da! And let me let that focus. Isn't that gorgeous? It's got all the little dots on it, got a bit of shading in the stem. Just let it focus. Is it going to focus for me? It's on autofocus, but that's about as close as I'm going to get, I think. But that's gorgeous, but I wanted to try something else. So I might run out of cardstock, so I'll just grab another piece. Got a couple of pieces here, so I'll clean that off. So this time I'm still going to ink up in the Pretty in Pink, but I'm going to make my stem darker. So on this one I've done the light colour, So I've got my berry burst, and I'm going to make my stem berry burst. Then I'm going to add some petunia pop in at the base so that the pink stays on the top as if the light was hitting it. Let's see what that looks like, shall we? It's a more pinky one. So you can still see the pretty and pink at the very top as if the light's hitting that mushroom. So let's have a look at the difference. Cute. I think I actually like this one. But I'll do another one. We'll see how we go. So clean that off. And we'll do let's do the petunia pop first this time, and we won't do as much. We'll just be very light handed in there, and we'll take our berry burst and we'll add the stem just down the bottom, and we'll see what this one turns out like. So imagine all the different colours, and you could blend them together, and you could have oh, that one's very cute too. That one's more of the pink in the top. This is pretty cute though. We might add some more blending in there. Let's do this one in the pretty and pink. Then let's add our petunia pop to the top, same way we've done here. But I'm going to add a little bit of berry burst in, just so you want to get the edge of your dauber and just along the bottom here. Let's see what that one looks like. Oh. Now see that one compared to that one, it's got a little bit more shading in the bottom. I quite like that one and that one. Actually, I like them all. I like them all, but you could do so many different colours and make so many different variations of. You're going to go for the whole suite. Good girl, Brenda. I'm very pleased. You won't regret it. The stamp set is gorgeous. Now the dies are different. Before we go, I will find the other cards that I made for class. I can't show you the ones in the tutorial bundle, but they are very different. But this one has, I'll just show you, very large leaves. 2 very large leaves, as well as all the leaves to cut these images out. It's got these 2 large leaves. These would be great if you do a banner, especially for your Thanksgiving. You could cut all these out and then string them along a banner. They also have these ones which cut, put in the middle like this, cut them out, and it makes the holes in them. So you can either just have the holes and do nothing with them, but use the holes signify the veins in the leaf. Or you can get the baker's twine that comes in the suite and stitch in these veins. So I think there's some samples in the these are online. I think there's some samples online that show you that. So those 2. So, and then of course it's got all these dies to cut out all the little images. It doesn't have anything for sentiments, although the sentiments in this suite are lovely. The font they're really fine and gorgeous, but so you'll have to pull out something else like I've done today to cut your sentiments out. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and die cut these. Well, the ones I want to use anyway. So we'll find all the right dies, and then I'll just quickly run those through, and you might just have to chat between yourselves for a little minute while I do that. That one. And there's one for the little berries. And one for the mushroom. I haven't got these on a magnetic sheet yet, so they're a bit messy. And one for the big leaf. There's actually 2 for the little berries in there. Oops, got one. 2 dies. But all the others only have 1. So I'm going to get some of my special tape. Oak tree leaves. Yes, they're the oak tree leaves are the shorter one part. But they also in their own right make for some interesting effects, because you could use them as a mask. You could just die cut them in one colour. You could die cut them out of the designer series paper. You can die cut them and do what I've done in the cards that I did and stamp on them. Like, and then the leaf becomes a shape. Not so much a leaf, but a shape. You can die cut an aperture in the front of your card and then have the little images in behind. There's so many things you could do. I love a bundle where you has lots of different options. And then that Gathering Leaves embossing folder, I have certainly got my money's worth out of that already because I have used that so many times. I didn't think I'd like it because it looked a little too regimented for me. That's this one. But it's also got that look of leaves falling down or leaves going up, whichever way you put it. It's a huge one, so it will do the whole back of your card quite well. So I've done lots of things with that as well, so it is brilliant, sweet. All right, so that's those ones. So we'll just do one more pass through. There's no more of those. Got this little one and one more big one. So it doesn't take that long when you can do them all at once like this. Oh, I've got to do the mushrooms over here. So I'll take this one off and do, looks like we're doing this mushroom again. Because not that it really matters, but I like to keep them the same variety of mushroom. Oops. Pull that off, shell. Just about to call myself a silly name. I'm not allowed to do that. Cut this one. But I do love that they have all their own texture, all their own veins in them. They're great. And then of course the dies do cut out some of the leaves from the designer series paper, which gives you a whole other look. And I really saw the scope of the suite itself by looking at that tutorial bundle and seeing what all of the other girls did with the project. So it is well worth it sometimes to have a bundle that you can just work through the projects. And you know, we tend to all look at things in different ways. So it's great to see all the different things you can do with the suite. Right, that's all my die cutting done. Didn't take that long. Okay, so they're all my elements. Now, let's bring all our card stuff back in. The other thing that we will need is, I'm going to add some non-stamped foliage. Now, there's no non-stamped foliage in the dies that come with this one. They all cut out an image, or they're those really big leaves. So because I had the branching out dies out somewhere here, up here, there is this little piece of foliage in that die set. So that's what I'm using. And I've gone ahead and cut quite a few of those. So I've got 3 here, which is all we'll need on the front, I think. But I've got a few others here. And then we need the sentiment. So we may as well get that done and then we'll be able to put everything together. So this piece of cards that I had here, I'm going to stamp the same one again, which is the many thanks. This one. So you can see how it's a gorgeous handwritten look font and so fine. Sometimes these fonts, they get them and then when you stamp them they're a bit thick, but these are lovely and fine. So I'll just pop that on there. A bit of green ink there. Let's use that in class. Right, we'll use the darkest ink, which is Berry Burst. Ink that up. Look at that. Stunning. Stunning. They're gorgeous sentiments. All of that Berry Burst off there. Right, so now I pulled out, I went through heap of different label type dies. This is actually a great one to have too, because you don't have to cut the whole lot out and stamp that whole stamp that comes with it. Just the die on their own is fabulous, because then you can just have a look around and work out what fits, and that fits. Now you don't want to cut all these other bits as well, so we'll just make this a little shorter, smaller, so that we can then go ahead and line this up on here, and then we'll cut it out so it lines up just perfectly in there. Bit of tape. Tape it down so it doesn't move when I pick it up. And we'll put that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Oh, crack, crack. There we go. Now I will, all these other bits just come out, get thrown away. Thank you, Mr. More Messages Dies. Done your job, you can go away now. Next up, I'm going to add some ink to this because I thought it needed something. So we'll take the lightest ink, which is Pretty in Pink, and we've got some more stamping to do too. And I've got a blending brush here, one of the small ones, and I'll need a block to do with all those blocks. So they've got stamps on them. Let's add some ink. Pick it up with my brush and just very lightly, it's just a touch of colour. Could use a sponge dauber for this if you wanted to as well. You might get more intense colour around the edges if you're using a sponge dauber. But it's a light ink anyway. Looks like you're really not putting any on there, but it's amazing how much goes on just with quite a light little touch. So when I use my blending brushes, I do hold, you can see I'm holding the head. I don't do this because I don't have enough control over my brush. They're quite bendy, and I like to have control. I like to know how hard I'm pressing, and I like to know exactly where it's going. So I hold on to my brush like that, and that way I can have control over it. Can you tell I'm a control freak? All right, so that's that little bit done. Now there's one more piece to this. Let me show you my card. As I went to put it together, you can see I've grouped everything down around this side of the card, and this left a lot of white space here, which I didn't like, and I didn't want to just fill it up with embellishments. So I've added some stamping to it with one of the stamps out of that Gathering Moments set. So we're only on the top one. So I'll pull this in. We'll need our Pretty in Pink, the lightest ink. And there's two texture stamps in that stamp set. There's like a plaid with it fades out towards the edge, but it does leave sort of a little mark, which I didn't like for what we're doing here. So I'm going to use this one, which is just some little marks really. Looks like little etched marks in timber or something. So we'll just grab a stamp, what do they call these things? Block. And we're going to stamp them and then stamp off so that they're quite light, and we'll just stamp some texture in around the back of where the mushrooms are going to sit. A lot of that won't show, but I'll just do that, and then I've got some texture in the background. So it's very light, just adds a little extra something. Okay, let's see where we're going now. So these two can go together, but this is sitting up on those die cut pieces, so it's sitting a little proud. If we put it on like that, look, it really won't matter, but it will slope down a little bit, and I'm a bit funny about things that slope down. So my solution to that is I could pop the whole thing up with dimensionals, but it's already getting quite high. with all my other bits and pieces, so I want it to sit flat. So my solution to that is, you could just use doubled up mini glue dots, but what I'm going to do is try and add the same height as these two layers of card in underneath this side. So I've die cut out of some scrap white card, another one of those small branching out pieces, and I'm going to cut it in half. So, not even particularly in half. Then I'm going to turn them around like this, and I'm going to layer them together. So they're now then going to be 2 card thicknesses, the same as what this strip here is. Because I did the smaller one, it's going to sit nicely in underneath here, and that will then make this the same height. If you can actually see that, but it fits in there. I should have probably measured it and done it more in half, but anyway, it'll glue onto there and it will sit up, and it won't bend down to one side. Just give it a little bit of dimension, but not too much. If I put dimensionals up behind, it would have been like this. So that's just a way to easily add some extra in behind. Now this is going to sit in the center about here, so slightly down from the top to give it some balance, but it is going to try and sit centrally this way. So that's about where I need to glue that on. So I'll just add some glue to the back. Be neater than Cheryl and cut your piece in half, works better. I can go, I think it was about there. Short-term memory loss I have. Can't remember a number or what I just told myself I was going to do. It's just going to sit about there like that. So we can go ahead and glue that down. Now you know that you don't have to go all the way to the edge, because the glue is only going to stick to this bit. You don't want it to stick to the petunia pot background. And then we'll try and get that in the center. That down a little bit. Make sure it's straight. There we go. I've even got it up the right way. That's pretty amazing. Would have been a bit sad if I'd put it upside down and all my stamping would get covered then. Alright, and so see, it just adds a little bit of, because this looks like it's sitting up now, but it's just a little bit, a lot shorter than a dimensional, a lot lower than a dimensional. Alright, now we can go ahead and put all this together. So a sentiment is going to sit about here. So I usually, when I'm working myself, I would put it all together and then take a photo and work off that. But I've got this one to work off now, so we'll just do this a similar sort of layout. But we know we want to sit our sentiment, sorry, about here. So let's go ahead and quickly glue all of these bits on. Start with our larger leaves, because I think I'm over time. It's a long one today, but we did get some bonus content, some little bit extra. Yes, so I love doing something out of the ordinary. This is going to sit down low here. I do want to show these bits of the beautiful label underneath, so I don't want to just cover all those up. Yeah, I like to work away from the colour of the the designer series paper. I like to do something a bit different. Stretch the usage. Because this would take you, like, all of a sudden this set's not just fall anymore, or autumn. It now becomes something totally different that can be used for all seasons. Now we've got these little pink ones. I've got 3 of these. Will I make it with my glue? I do not want to have to take my microphone off. Right, so this one's going to come up and sit up here. And then this one's going to come out the side. I'm not putting glue on the ends, they can sort of be a little bit flexible. Could tuck a glue dot under there if you wanted, but if I was to put glue on there, it would then come down and not be up at the same level. So, but you could tuck a glue dot underneath if you wanted to. All right, so that's where we're looking at the moment. So let's have a look at these ones. So the Petunia Pop. Well worth the extra time? Great. Pleased to hear that. Yes, I get very excited when I, for me, discover something that I can do with something. Oh, look how that works. So it's really nice to be able to share it in the moment, because otherwise I'll move on to something else. All right, we've got, what have we got left? We should have another, maybe I didn't do, I was supposed to do another one of these. Luckily, I have pre-done some. We were supposed to do 3 of these ones. Obviously, I didn't. Badger. Okay, that's got to go down in there. Sorry about the empty glue. And then we'll add the little berries in, and I'm going to add them right in that little gap in the middle there. And this is the only reason that I stamped the little berries, because when I'd finish this card and when it's got a gap, I need to fill it. So just fill it in with the little, those little berries in a darker colour. And then you can see it's quite light. So I could have added white to this if I wanted a white feel, but I've already got all the white around the edges of the leaves, so I went with Berry Burst. Now I have not put sticky sheet on the back of these, which probably would have been sensible, but they have great little landing pads for the glue if you've got glue that actually works, to put your little dots on. So I'm going to put this one down here because I put glue all over it. This just adds a little bit of extra oomph to it. We'll do the same. Now we won't put them on the top of this one because it's going to sit up here and I don't want it to necessarily... Now it's empty and now it's coming out like crazy. It's a little bit much, but we'll work with that. Now this one, I'm just going to tuck it down in under here. And this last one, so when I'm putting in these last little bits, I always work the same way that I do with embellishments. So rather than go 1, 2, 3 and make it look very symmetrical, you want to group 2 together and then have one a little bit further away, so it's going to come down over here. It's just a pleasing design sort of element. Helps draw your eye nicely around the card. Oops, pop that one down, glue those little dots in place, and then lastly the mushrooms go in. So I've got these 2. Now I think I put them, this one the best, so we'll put him on the outside. So yeah, this one can go underneath. So we'll just pop this one down with a little bit of glue, and the other one can go up with dimensionals. Come on, glue, you only got to last a little bit longer. Right, so it's going to cover up here. Pop a little mushroom there. Oh, so cute. And then this one can go up with dimensionals. So I'll grab some dimensionals. What have I got here? Just need one dimensional. That's a record for Cheryl. 1 dimensional. So now it's going to sit here, make sure everything's covered, and our little mushroom can just pop up there. Now this can go up on part dimensionals, part glue dots. So you can see, I don't know if you can see actually, but at the moment it's higher here than it is over here. So I'll just pop one dimensional here in the corner, and then all the rest can be glue dots. Now I'll just grab a take your pick tool. And we're going to double up our dimensionals, mini glue dots, sorry. So we'll just throw a few around the place, but we will add a couple of layers, especially here, because it's going to sit down in that little groove there. So probably want to add about 3 there. Oops. So that's not as high as a dimensional, about half the height of a dimensional. And then we'll do a couple more over here, and we'll just double up those ones. So 1 and 2. I'm all about keeping my layers straight. I like them to be level. Can you tell? Oh, thanks, Barb. I'd love to be able to just create all day. How fun would that be? All right, so we've got, this is going to come over here a little bit. Just make sure that all of my centers are covered and it's reasonably, now before I glue that down, just going to leave that sit for a minute. Hopefully I will lift it up because I want to add a ribbon or a bow. Now I've got, this is the white baker's twine. I wonder if this is enough. It's a scrap piece that I had from the end of a roll. I think I might be able to get away with it. Does anyone else have this happen with baker's twine? You tie it and then one of your strings wants to flip around all the time. Anyway, it's going underneath here. It's got to go down with a glue dot. I think my little loops are big enough. So again, we'll use a mini glue dot just to hold that in place. Hopefully I can lift this up. I didn't press it down, it should just lift up nicely. And we'll just pop this underneath. This is not a very elegant way to do this. You know, put this down first normally. Just under the edge there. There we go. And then you can wrangle your bow bits out. Like that. And then I'll grab my ribbon scissors and we will cut the ends off a little. There we go. I've ended up with 3 layers of glue dots because I had my bow there. But anyway, that'll be all right. Okay, and now the last thing to add is the embellishments. Now I'm using these embellishments, which I got in to do our Lights of Aurora class, and they're called the Frosted Iridescent Dots. They are in the catalogue, the mini catalogue, and look at those. They are absolutely delicious looking. And of course, depending on what colour you put them over, because they're a bit see-through, a bit translucent, they're going to pick up on that colour. So this, I think, is Petunia Pop. So we will add some of those. So I'm going to pick one large one. It's definitely got a little purple tinge to it, but see, they sort of look different depending on what colour you put them over. Ooh, really pink on the white. But anyway, we're going to pop one down here and a little one down there as well. And then just one up in here, just to give us a little bit of a hint of shimmer. There we go. And then of course I won't do it now, but I'll just show you. I've got an inside pieces which will be in the measurements, so you would pop these down here, and any extra bits you had left over, which I've got quite a few here, you can pop them on the inside of your card. Look at that little mushroom, he's so cute. Make yourself a little bouquet. If you've got any of this stuff left, you could add a layer of this, or even a couple of layers of that in there behind. That's probably what I'll do. And I might not even, yeah, we'll use that one. I'll get another one and stick it in there. I've got a big one, I think. And that will be my inside, a little grouping of elements from the outside of the card. Something like that. What do you think? So I'll go ahead and do that, and I will, that will be the inside done. But they are my cards for today. Oops. That was the first one I did. Just wrangle your bows till they look pretty. So what do you think? I absolutely love them. I love using those autumn leaves in pinks. And thank you very much, Brenda. I hope you have fun, especially when you get your next order in. I hope you have fun using. They work so well together, those two sweets, because they're both sort of leafy and autumny. They work so well together. So yes, I will just get rid of this one and come back over to here. Yes, we're back again. Thank you so much, ladies. I enjoy this thoroughly. It is much more enjoyable when I've got someone to talk to. Thank you, Sharon. Especially such gracious ladies as yourselves who make me feel so warm and fuzzy. It's always nice to have people make lovely comments. So thank you so much for coming along. And I will put the measurements up in the Blue Mushroom group for both metric and imperial. I've halfway through them, so I'll finish them now. Put them up in the Blue Mushroom group, and then we might have to come back with another project using that gorgeous paper and colouring it in those beautiful inky colours. Going to have to come up with something for those. So thank you so much. I will talk to you all next week, hopefully, same time, same place. Thank you muchly.